Most people read the news. A few read the warning.
At 62, my neighbor Harold believed his retirement savings were too small to last the rest of his life. Harold spent 38 years as an accountant, careful with numbers, cautious with risk, and disciplined with every dollar. But retirement arrived quietly, and suddenly, his spreadsheets looked smaller than the years still ahead of him. One evening he showed me his statements across the kitchen table under a dim yellow light. He sighed slowly and said, "I saved my whole life, yet it still feels like not enough." Many people believe the solution is to chase higher returns or take bigger risks late in life. But Harold discovered something different. Something surprisingly simple that changed his retirement math completely. The change did not involve gambling on markets or finding secret investments. It involved understanding how time, patience, and disciplined withdrawals quietly multiply financial security. What Harold learned eventually made his retirement account feel 5 times more powerful than he first imagined. Let me walk you through the quiet lesson Harold discovered after 4 decades working with numbers. His mistake was not about saving too little during his career. His mistake was misunderstanding how retirement money should behave after the paychecks stop. Like many retirees, Harold believed retirement was the moment to slowly spend down everything he built. But retirement accounts are not simply buckets of money waiting to be emptied. They are machines that continue working quietly if you treat them correctly. Harold realized his thinking about withdrawals was costing him enormous long-term security. That realization changed the way he structured every dollar leaving his retirement account. Over time, his financial confidence grew stronger, even though his savings balance barely changed. What changed was how the money worked for him. The lesson begins with a mindset shift many retirees never fully understand. So let me share the simple framework Harold now teaches younger friends approaching retirement. These are not complicated strategies, just disciplined thinking built from decades of accounting experience. Lesson 1. Your retirement account is not a savings pile. It is a long-term income engine. When retirees view their money as a shrinking pile, fear begins controlling every spending decision. But when the account is treated as an income engine, the strategy becomes patience and sustainability. Harold realized his investments could continue producing returns for decades, even after retirement began. This simple shift turned his perspective from scarcity toward controlled financial longevity. Lesson 2. The withdrawal rate quietly determines whether retirement wealth survives or disappears. Many retirees withdraw too much too early, unintentionally destroying the compounding power of their savings. Harold began limiting withdrawals to only what his investments could sustainably support. Suddenly, the account stopped shrinking rapidly and started stabilizing over time. Lesson 3. Compounding still works after retirement if the principal remains protected. Many people forget that retirement could last 25 or even 30 years. That is enough time for compounding to continue doing quiet but powerful work. By protecting the core balance, Harold allowed time to multiply his financial stability. Lesson 4. Simplicity often beats complexity in retirement investing. Harold stopped chasing clever strategies and focused on steady, diversified investments. This removed stress and allowed consistency to replace constant financial worry. Lesson 5. Discipline matters more than brilliance when protecting retirement wealth. Most financial mistakes after 60 come from emotional decisions rather than mathematical ones. Harold committed to simple rules and refused to panic during market volatility. Within a few years, his retirement balance began lasting far longer than he once feared. It was not magic growth that multiplied his retirement confidence. It was controlled withdrawals combined with patience and disciplined investing. Slowly, Harold realized his retirement account could support him far beyond his original expectations. In practical terms, His money felt almost 5 times more powerful because the account was no longer disappearing rapidly each year. Instead, it was quietly sustaining his lifestyle year after year. One afternoon, he laughed and said something I will never forget. I spent 40 years learning how to save money, but retirement taught me how to slow down spending. That difference changed everything about how his money behaved. Retirement success often depends less on earning more and more on preserving what already exists. This quiet discipline is rarely exciting, but extremely powerful. If this lesson resonates with you, consider subscribing to Old Money Wisdom for more calm retirement guidance, because protecting wealth after 40 requires patience, clarity, and sometimes unlearning old financial habits. Harold now spends his mornings walking through the neighborhood without worrying about money. The numbers did not magically grow overnight, but the strategy quietly multiplied the life his savings could support. Many retirees overlook this because the solution sounds too simple, but simple financial discipline often outperforms complicated financial engineering. The truth is, retirement wealth grows stronger when fear stops driving decisions. Instead, patience and steady thinking take control. This is the quiet wisdom many experienced accountants eventually learn. Money is not just about growth, it is about endurance. A retirement plan must survive decades, not just impress people today. That mindset changes how every dollar is used. Harold's confidence today comes from knowing his money has time to keep working. And time is often the most underestimated financial asset. When used correctly, time multiplies stability more than risky investments ever could. This realization transformed Harold from a worried retiree into a calm planner. His strategy today is simple, disciplined, and surprisingly peaceful. Spend carefully, invest patiently, and protect the core balance. Those 3 habits quietly extend the life of retirement savings. And sometimes that extension can feel like multiplying your wealth many times over. Not because the account suddenly exploded in size, but because the money lasted far longer than expected. Longevity is the real multiplier in retirement planning. A dollar that supports 25 years is far more powerful than a dollar spent in 5. That is the quiet secret Harold discovered after retiring from accounting. He stopped asking how fast his money could grow and started asking how long his money could last. That single question transformed his retirement strategy. Many people approaching retirement could benefit from asking the same question, because the answer often reveals surprisingly simple adjustments. Harold now describes retirement planning as a slow, steady conversation with time. Each careful decision allows his savings to speak a little longer. And that extended conversation is what creates true financial peace. Not flashy returns, but durable stability. If you remember nothing else from Harold's story, remember this quiet principle. Retirement wealth is multiplied by discipline, patience, and respect for time. These simple habits turn modest savings into lasting security. And that is often the difference between fear and confidence in retirement. Harold's spreadsheets did not change dramatically, but his understanding of them changed completely. And sometimes, understanding is the most powerful financial multiplier, especially when life enters the long, quiet chapter called retirement, where patience becomes the most valuable investment you own, and wisdom quietly protects the money you spent a lifetime building.